For high-performance automatic transmission applications, we manufacture a chrome moly flex plate. It's about 9mm thick, much stronger than the original sheet metal one, which is stamped, and it's about 2mm thick. However, when you fit them up, there's a few things that you need to check just to make sure that everything is going to fit up correctly. The first thing is to ensure that the bolts have enough thread engagement into the back of the crankshaft. We normally just run the bolts through really quickly, tighten them in, and just make sure that you've got 4 or 5 mil between the head of the bolt and the back of the crankshaft. The flex plate is about 8.5mm thick at the bolt point, so that's obviously going to give it the correct amount of purchase of the bolt onto the actual flex plate. We don't want the bolt bottoming out inside the end of the crankshaft, and the problem with these things is we notice that they are tapped to all sorts of different depths from time to time, so you've got to check that. Secondly, on the really high performance engines, we tend to dowel the crankshaft. We put 3 10mm dowels into the back of the crank and into the flex plate, so as it means that the bolts aren't doing the shouldering of the load of the flex plate. The shouldering can be done by the dowels, and then the bolts are just doing the securing. So that gives us a little bit more integrity in terms of maintaining the back of the flex plate onto the end of the crankshaft. The third thing that we do is we have these washers which we got in from Germany called Schnorr washers. They're a serrated washer. They're serrated on both faces, and they're conical, like a Belleville type washer. And what happens with them is you put them on the bolt and put some Loctite sealer lube in the usual fashion, and you tighten them down, and because they're conical, they flatten out and the teeth bite into the underside of the head of the bolt and also on the face of the flex plate. So it gives a very, very positive engagement to the actual faces of the bolts and the flex plate. So because these engines have a long stroke, they do tend to flick flywheels loose and flick balancers off the other end. This is the best alternative we've come up with so far to hold the things together. We did used to sort of see a lot of people who tack welded the heads of the bolts, which is a bit rough and ready, but in some cases that's all that you can do to maintain the integrity of the flex plate or the flywheel onto the back of the crankshaft. But this has been working quite well for us. We're very happy with this.